The sun rose over the small village of Isolo, bathing the neatly kept homes in its warm glow. Himu awoke to the sounds of roosters crowing and children playing in the dirt road outside. He dressed quickly in the only clothes he owned, a worn shirt and tattered trousers, and made his way to the kitchen. "Good morning, mother," he said, kissing her on the cheek. She was already busy preparing poshu over the fire for their breakfast. "I'm off to the market. Do you need me to fetch anything?" His mother smiled tiredly. "Just see if the women are selling their vegetables or eggs any cheaper today. Times are hard and your father's illness isn't helping." Himu's heart clenched at the worry lines etched on her face. Ever since his father fell ill last year, the burden of supporting their family had fallen to him and his two sisters. Even working long days in the fields and on construction sites, the money was never enough. "I'll do my best," he promised, grabbing a handful of poshu cakes to eat on the way. As he strode down the dusty road, his mind wandered to his dream, to one day become a teacher and lift his community from poverty through education. But was it truly possible for a villager like him? Doubt swirled as he navigated the lively market. Women haggled over prices while children chased chickens between the stalls. Himu stopped to trade with the usual vegetable and egg sellers, using his bartering skills to bargain down the costs. As he secured the last of the goods, a commotion at the edge of the market grabbed his attention. A group had gathered around two figures engaged in a fierce argument, the village chief and his insolent overseer. The overseer, a sly man known more for his thievery than work ethic, was shouting demands at the chief who looked ready to strike him. "You dare question my authority? I keep these ingrates in line so you can sit pretty in your hut all day." The overseer spat, shoving an older man. Before things could escalate further, a melodic voice cut through the air. "Enough. Your aggression solves nothing and your harsh rule will earn you no respect." The crowd parted as the voice's owner emerged, a striking young woman with skin like ebony and eyes flashing fiercely. It was Moni, daughter of the chief. Himu stared, captivated, as she boldly confronted the overseer with all the poise and intelligence of someone well beyond her years. There was a reason the villagers called her the jewel. Under Moni's reprimand, the overseer backed down with a scowl. The chief nodded proudly at his daughter before gathering the onlookers to disperse. Only then did their eyes meet across the space. For a long moment, neither looked away. Himu was lost in her beauty, the proud tilt of her chin, full lips curled in a gentle smile. She approached with a curiosity to match his own. "You helped avert trouble today. I'm grateful." "It was you who deserves thanks," Himu said shyly, suddenly conscious of his ragged appearance before her finery. "You speak wisely for one so young." Moni laughed lightly. "And you perceive much for one who says so little. Tell me, what is your name?" From that day on, the chance meeting that began at the village market blossomed into regular conversations in its bustling alleys and walks through the surrounding forest. Himu was enthralled by Moni's passion for improving their community and helping the less fortunate. She listened with interest as he shared his dreams of becoming a teacher. "Your ambitions give me hope that change is coming," Moni said one evening as they gazed at the vivid sunset. "This village deserves leaders who lift others up, not put them down. I believe in you, Himu. With hard work and perseverance, all things are possible." Her belief in him filled Himu with a new determination. From that moment, his path was clear: to pursue his education and prove that a poor villager like himself could make a difference through teaching. With Moni by his side supporting his vision, nothing would be able to hold him back from chasing his destiny. As the sun rose each morning, Himu greeted it with a renewed vigor. Inspired by Moni's confidence in him, he resolved to dedicate every available moment to his studies. With no access to a proper school, Himu taught himself with second-hand textbooks borrowed from the village elders. Sitting under the acacia tree by the river, he pored over pages of history, literature, and arithmetic far into the night. When daylight faded, he lit an oil lamp and continued by its dim glow, squinting to make out the small print. Tiny cracks and holes in the aging pages were smoothed over with tape and glue, holding together the tatters of knowledge. Himu treasured each word like gold, determined to absorb every lesson for the exams ahead. As the seasons changed, Himu's hard work began to show results. His literacy and understanding grew by the day. But the obstacles remained immense, from lack of proper materials to exhaustion from long labors in the fields each afternoon. Often his drained body protested, eyes refusing to stay open any longer. In those dark moments, Himu allowed doubts to creep in. How could someone from his lowly station ever pass the test set for those blessed with riches and connections? The vicious cycle of poverty seemed impossible to escape. Flashbacks of past failures only amplified his insecurities, from dropping out of basic schooling as a child to support his ill father, to the constant hunger and struggles at home. It was then, in those wavering moments, that Himu drew strength from remembering Moni. Her confidence in him blazed bright as the sun, casting his doubts into shadows. He recalled their walks through fields of golden harvest, Moni's melodic voice lifting his spirit with stories of progress overseas. Education is light that chases away ignorance. With it, we can illuminate our village for generations, she had said. Himu clung to those words, using them to fuel his midnight studies under the stars. Slowly, knowledge that once seemed distant took root in his mind like the maize in the fertile soil. When the dates for the district exams were announced, Himu felt ready but remained uneasy. The evening before his departure, he sat with his mother by their cooking fire. "My son, your father and I are so proud of how far you've come," she said, pressing her worn hands tightly around his. "Go and do your best. That is all any parent could ask for." Her kind eyes, mirrors of his own, shone with unshed tears. Himu embraced her, drawing strength from her gentle touch like rainwater seeping into parched land. "I will make you proud, mother. This is for our family." That night, Himu lay awake revising under the star-flecked sky, too anxious to rest. Come morning, he said a prayer at his family's mausoleum and set off with a bundle of provisions. The long walk to the exam center passed in a blur. Himu focused inward, recalling all he had learned as the bush whizzed by in a green-brown haze. Upon arrival, Himu steeled his resolve and joined the queue of students. Most were from well-off families, dressed sharply in the latest fashions. He was keenly aware of his own worn clothing and rough hands beside their soft skin. Straightening to full height, Himu pushed aside the doubts and stepped inside to face his destiny, determined to prove that through hard work and perseverance, all things were possible. In the weeks following the exams, Himu threw himself back into assisting his family, while anxiously awaiting the results. Each day stretched endlessly as he wondered if his efforts had been enough. Moni provided a welcome distraction, enjoying long philosophical discussions during their secret meetings in a sheltered meadow. Away from prying eyes, they sat close together amongst clumps of wildflowers, fingers entwined. Himu was transfixed by the play of sunlight through Moni's dark tresses, lips parting gently as she spoke of political changes sweeping the continent. Her passion stirred something deep within him, erasing doubts that their bond could ever be more than friendship. One evening, as a sweet breeze rustled the tall grasses, Himu found himself lost in her eyes. Overcome by a sudden rush of courage, he leaned forward and pressed his lips softly to hers. Moni responded with a warmth that took his breath away. When they parted, her radiant smile confirmed what he had only dared to hope, that she returned his affections just as fiercely. From that moment, stolen kisses and embraces became the highlight of Himu's days. Working in the fields under the hot sun was made bearable knowing Moni's company awaited him each evening by their meadow. Love swelled his heart to bursting yet remained bittersweet, for they knew her father Chief Oginga would never approve of their union. As daughter of the village's ruler, Moni's hand was to be promised only to a man of equal status. But Himu was a lowly laborer from a poor family, with nothing to his name but ambition. Still, bolstered by Moni's assurances that their bond transcended mere wealth or titles, Himu dared to believe their love could overcome any obstacles. One fateful night, they were caught in a compromising embrace by unfriendly eyes. The village overseer, a bitter man long jealous of Moni's beauty and intelligence, swiftly informed the chief of his daughter's indiscretion. Enraged at the dishonor brought upon his household, Chief Oginga forbade Moni from ever seeing Himu again. Devastated, the star-crossed lovers took solace in brief, secret meetings under cover of darkness. They vowed that if the long-awaited exam results proved favorable, Himu would petition the chief formally for Moni's hand, with his new teaching position and certificate in hand. With an honored career path to show for himself, surely the elder's rigid views would soften. Days crawled by with excruciating slowness until at last, the anticipated letter arrived from the district education board. Himu stepped out of his familial hut and held the missive up to the light, heart pounding as he broke the wax seal with trembling hands. A slow gasp escaped his lips to see a single word written in crisp script, passed. Overcome with joy and validation, Himu raced through the trails to share the news with Moni under their sacred trees. Their exuberant celebration was cut short by the overseer's arrival, brandishing a summons from the chief to attend an urgent meeting. A sense of foreboding seized Himu as he and Moni hastened to the great hut in the village center, dreading what awaited them amongst the assembled elders. Chief Oginga's thunderous countenance confirmed their fears. So the rumors are true, you continue this shameful alliance despite my prohibition. Know that I will never consent to your union, least of all with one so lowly as him, he boomed, pointing dismissively at Himu. Mark my words, any further defiance and severest consequences will follow. With that chilling decree, all their dreams seemed to shatter at once. Himu grasped Moni's hand fiercely, resolved now more than ever to prove their love could endure any trial and change even the most stubborn of hearts. But first, he must gain the villagers' recognition and respect through his talents as an educator. Guiding the community's next generation to brighter futures.